I want to tell you a story. It's about a friend of mine named Paco. Now, Paco was this bird. He lived in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, with our Yaya Talasyamka. It's funny because the bird was very similar to another story that my cousin used to tell me growing up. It was all about the parrot. You know, parrots used to live in Arizona, and they're coming back. Now listen to my story. Long time ago, there lived a very, very poorly depressed bird. He was so sad. Every day the sun would come out and he'd hide. The bird, Paco, was pitiful. He was so poor. He didn't have even one feather on his body. He always had to seek out a cave or a hole to protect himself from the intense heat or the very cold. Finally, one day he thought, maybe I'll ask for some help. He didn't like doing this because he knew how sometimes, others would use it against you or whatever. But despite his pride, despite his poverty, he gathered together all of his courage, and he went to see the owl, the wisest bird of all, who sees that deception cannot stop us. So he asked. He found the owl sitting high up in a tree, looking at the countryside in the semi-darkness, looking for things to eat. So the owl turned and said, "How are you doing, my friend?" And Paco looked at him mournfully from the ground and said, "I'm not doing so good." Owl tilted his head a little bit and said, "Well, what's up?" And Paco told his friend, "Well, I got this really bad problem. When I was a little bird, it didn't matter so much. But now, I'd like to have a wife and kids, and I'd like to be able to find love in my life, so it's become difficult." And Al, showing genuine concern, asked him, "Well, so tell me about it. What's going on?" And Paco said, "Well, I'm so poor. I have no feathers." "That could be a problem," the owl said, after thinking about the matter for just a minute. "I wish I had known about this sooner, for birds definitely need feathers. What would you like me to do about this?" "Well, I know that you're greatly respected by all of the wingeds, and I was wondering whether you might be able to help me find a few feathers that, they could spare. Molting season's coming on, and, they're just going to throw them away anyway." Al pondered aloud for a minute. "Tomorrow we are having our big clan meeting. Maybe I can do something to help you. Can you meet me under this tree at sunrise?" "Oh my, yes," Paco quickly agreed. "I will do anything you say." So the next morning at sunrise, when all the winged ones gathered together for their clan meeting, Paco was there. Owl, who was the chief at that time, quickly called the roll to see who was there. Then he got to the point of Paco's dilemma. "Our small friend here is in trouble," he told the council. "As you can see, he has no feathers. He's wanting to start a family and not freeze to death this winter, and he needs some protection and, of course, some handsomeness so that he can attract that mate. Is there anything we can do to help?" I would be happy to give him one of my feathers, the swallow said. Maybe if we each give one feather to him, he will have enough to cover himself. That's a really good idea, said the cactus wren. I too will happily give him one of my feathers to help him stay warm. And so it went on with all the many birds who had assembled. Each one pulled one of their finest feathers and handed it to Paco, who attached it to his body. In return, Paco promised that 1 year from that day he would repay each feather with an act of kindness. Within a short time, he was dressed in the most beautiful combination of colors anyone could ever dream possible. The winged ones felt very good about themselves, just as we humans feel better about ourselves when we help others. Paco left to go to a place he had never gone before, because before that time, he'd never been able to go anywhere. Oh, many, many seasons passed, and true to his word, every year Paco would return with something special. For Paco became the bird that traveled with Cocopele, and everyone always knew that when Cocopele came, great gifts would abound. And so Paco healed his heart, found his mate, was able to fulfill his purpose because he asked for help.